see very often.
Chow and Joker, they kind of have the driver's seat in terms of what's happening. They're seeing, they're dictating. The cap of the ship is where the pressure gets put down. But now it's have to go in and overboard. Have to go max zone rotation all the way forward. See, crazy. Some amazing qualification to Costa Rica as well. Absolutely amazing.
They were the last team to make it into this lobby, right? Played on consistency. Saw plenty of passion from the team in the games. And passion isn't going to be enough in this lobby. You have to be on point with your strategies. That's going to be the biggest test they've ever had as players in this lobby this weekend.
Absolutely, the stakes highest for them. Literally 50th place, statistically coming in to a 50 duo lobby. Pressure, not much, because you just have to perform. Belusi Vortex, the first ones to jump. Everyone now going towards the zone. Queasy on the right, Belusi interrupted by a tree. Doesn't matter too much. As someone says hi through a window. His bevies down below, they're gonna be right by his box. That is danger.
Yeah, of course, with so many hungry duos around them, they themselves might need to get a bit aggressive with their surge situation. 100 of us is the most comfortable spots to be at.
It's so tough. A pit stop here doesn't give you new tires. It costs you fuel. It's really hard to stop in the middle of the entire map to try to get a bearing. If you do, you end up like Firebro, picked up by Artskill. One of the duels probably towards the north side of the circle. The most empty right now. Bassarber and Floki find a way in the middle. Cherry and Gira still chilling up high. They've had a really good control of this game overall. Have the most northern point of the zone. Has been pulling up and up and up. So they might get this next one pulled as well in just a second. Yep. Amazing. They have positioned perfectly. Janice and Reason right behind them.
Shire's got the script for this season's finals. I'm sure you'll be getting a bunch of DMs from players. Where's the zone gonna go next game? Let us know. For the players who didn't necessarily get the most favorable pools, you're gonna be hoping you have a hammer.
That's the whole lobby.
Yep. Yeah, quite literally the whole lobby. Make sure you have a shockwave, hammer, or prepare to face peril as you try and move towards that north. Of course, there is a bit of a mountain there as well, so we'll see changes in elevation as players traverse through these zones. Queasy and Vino, they'll be vibing in that regard. As long as they can stick together and don't get pushed through any of these builds as they move on through.
That's two hammer shots from Queasy. They don't go exactly right, so a few hairs in the plan already. Lucia not gonna make it. JJ picking up another one, so in terms of absorbing pressure, that duo is doing so well. Vortex for Lucy laying traps. If you don't have a hammer, be the hammer and take down Vino. He's going down immediately, so Queasy's gone too. The one duo we expected to have a rain on EU, gone in game one. All good though, climb up that mountain. Pablo Wingu, up top, he might just be the name to fear for these 12 games.
Queasy and Vino aren't there. Someone's gonna fill in on the shoes. Bevies and Pablo Wingu. They've had such a good season up to this point, and they're showcasing what they can do here from above.
Said he's gone too, JJ 2 down, he's not picking up anyone. Chari in the box, he wins this once. That's gonna be big. It's Passive who gets knocked.
You can see here, plenty of loot now. The shockwave hammer there gonna come in as well. Tripping and Scram there, trying to make some devious plays here. They set someone, they smell them, they want to snuff them out. On the other side of this wall, the double pickaxe to get in the box. He didn't see it coming, and they take him out with ease.
As they all get absolutely sludged down in these builds, going for even more Trip and another person in the box. He's going directly for a hostile takeover. Meanwhile, there are some shady tactics from Tayson being tased on the high ground, still looking to see exactly what he wants to do. Now looking towards the backside of the zone, they don't have the distance yet, the power to really usurp height. They're focusing on as many healers as they can all the way towards the back. The shockwave hammers get them down. Meanwhile, Pablo Wingu and Bevies, they're still bopping kids all the way towards low ground. T-Chip's not a problem. Shimoki, no chance whatsoever. And then they jump down. Tripper then gets to retain height. Pablo Wingu takes it back. It's a seesaw up in the sky.
Dropping down all the way to low. And they're trying to create some space now. They want to control all the boxes as players just continue to walk on through. Not a duo you'd associate with being a powerhouse, but they have been mighty powerful in this game so far. Vortex and Belusi, we already know they've taken out top dogs, but they want to take out more.
They have time in mid though. Those were the stories. That Tripping with power. Belusi on the other side, all the way near mid, has that momentum. Chari as well on that low ground. Lots of momentum. Reason going down to Belusi. Looks like Vortex and Belusi are the interrupters, the disruptors of the lobby. Here's Chari still trying to really hold low as much as possible, but that zone is going right back.
They're so desperate. They needed that loot. That's going to work wonders for them. Tripper now, he's lost Scram and he needs Max himself. He needs to hit a big shot. It might not be enough for him though. He needs to stay alive. No, eventually taken out.
It's Pablo Wing who goes down up close and personal. His dual Bevy's lost in the storm. Up in the box one, we want to get first attached, but he has no gloves on. His fist hit harder. Has to just hold on to this med mist. He cannot stop giving himself health. He has to wait for the actual shot, and it's good. Buying himself a little bit of time to get all the way back. Tayson hears that happen and doesn't like it. No Max. Has to find a shot. Pablo Wingo ticked out. Now just 6 duels left, 8 players, so many solos. Chari and Giras have just absolutely held on to the absolute torment on low, and they're still not stopping.
8 eliminations for Chari, 4 for Giras. They have 12 in the game. They're looking for more. Janus just might walk into their sights. He needs to defend himself. Tayson's still lurking in the back of the zone. The Buell trying to take players out while gliding through the sky. Chari and Giras, this might just be their game. This might just be their moment. Only a couple more players now, just the one left to take out. Can they do it? It's gonna be the final shot connected. Janus stood no chance. Wow, what a first game. And they're max materials as well when it comes to metal at least, sorry. Still need some brick and wood, but plenty to come.
Thankfully, the zone pulls towards that right side, towards the duos that need a little bit of help. They just have to climb up slightly, a few meters. For Tayson Mustache, it's a little bit longer. And I don't know what happens as we last saw them, but power definitely gone.
Well, look, they had to use a lot of materials. We can guarantee that because they have not got much left at all. And they do have quite the rotation to make. Of course, the Shockwave Hammer will make things a bit more tenable. But when you're looking at this team, even if they are able to Shockwave themselves in, you know, what they're going to use to build a fortress in the zone, right? How are they going to keep themselves safe? It's looking like a situation where they're going to have to look at a box that they can jump into.
Every duel's in that spot. Refsguard right behind another duel. He's got no mats. Refsguard down, Hellfire. Went for an all-in. 40 materials for him as well. Bevy's taken out by Clement before he even gets to actually fly. So Clement, so many materials when he needs them most. And it was Tayson that takes out Refsguard. So at least gifted 150 mats. Maybe they can make a base now.
Hellfire just based up here, of course, using that Bush Warrior to get HP up a bit. The remainder of his shields as well. There's a solo in this one. We talked about them being dark horses so far. Best of starts and a difficult endgame to try clutch up in with the way the zone's pulling as well.
One of the most difficult. I'm watching something really, really long going down on Old McDonald's farm 11. Goats falling absolutely over and over again. The entire Elim feed just moments ago was absolutely decorated veterans of the UC not being able to make that zone.
It's a difficult game. Well, not too difficult if you're delaying Pixie. This is their side of the map. This is where they wanted the zone to pull and they're taking advantage of it.
It's just the easy challenge though. Queasy and Vino will want this spot. They have a launch pad to use as well, but if their landing is not as good as their zone acquisition, their positioning right now, then they're in big trouble.
Pixie and Delator, they're built up so high, right? Obviously up on this hill. And the volume will pull towards the north. Queasy and Vino, though, just waiting their second height, always going to be alert to it.
Has to be a big game for Queasy and Vino to convert. Remember, they went down very early in that first one.
Yeah, they didn't get the chance to play the game they want to, play the style they want to. There's not going to be many times where the lobby does get that benefit.
It's time to move. Versatile, completely different type of situation. Max rotate is just Tayson with that Shockwave Hammer. A little bit of a cliff to actually overcome, but they need some type of materials. Versace finds one. They can't actually track his player inside the box. Tayson, Versace having difficulty, and Tayson gets 180 and he escapes.
And this has been the problem for them, Shayo. Struggling here. They can make it to the end game, so once they're there, finding that consistency. And speaking of consistency, the high ground bosses here in game 2, finally up where they belong.
Ooh, but they're having an actual fight to maintain it. Usually the respect is there for Queasy Vino. Different when you see new up-and-comers looking to take spots, take patterns and playstyles from some of your most elite towards the top. There'll be shockwaves towards the sky. Meanwhile, down low, all the way past the river, down a mountain, through middle. This is tough.
They're gonna have to go all the way down, and a lot of maps are gonna have to be used. So if you want some, you gotta fight for them, and that's what Fred will do. Takes down Xweez. Podesai now gonna have to scurry away as a solo. They gotta be careful of this players in that wall, on that box, and now they've been taken out. Marius, he can't handle it. It's up to Fred now to get out with that hammer.
No time to think. You can only hammer or shoot. Building, a little bit of an option if you have a mid-ground layer, but this will cost Fred Marius as he makes it here. Queasy Vino They hold up top, but Queasy jumps way back in the zone. They might not have mats. I don't think High Ground has mats at all. Vino might have to give it up. Thomas Malibuca all the way down below. Traversing that water now, and Thomas is a machine! Doesn't miss a single shot. This is about to be lethal.
Seti barely getting away by the skin of his teeth. They're chopping height now. They might want to go up and take it. Will they be able to? They got to hold on to their current box though. The shots are being thrown around.
Delay's not done yet. Another big retake up top as this fight's going on for 5 different zones. Up high, down low as Delay takes more shots. Vino then goes back up. Pixie now has control. It's back and forth over and over. Vino's got impulses to use. He does not want to give it up, but Queasy has fallen down. Another trade on the Pixie. An absolute storm up in High Ground. And Vexy is now a new contender. Delay, he's won it, but at what cost?
Vino said he wanted to see people go up and try for height. Maybe that was their own call. He's not been able to handle it here. They go down. But Delay himself, after all those battles, he can't even hold it. It's Janice and Reason now. They are the ones up above. They started off well, and they're looking to do it here again in game 2.
Second place in that first game. Looked really good, and this time they can win it. Vexy, though, what an adjustment, and he's almost out of the box. A magician who quite hasn't just perfected that one trick just yet. The Bull has survived and hits big shots as well on his side. Pushed off by someone else's shockwave or impulse all the way on each and every single side. Actually, he's got that power within him. The Bull's looking for the next shot over. Shockwave hammer all the way up top, and he's found a new lair.
He's dancing in these boxes with that 0 chance, making it look fun. But he needs to try to stay in the zone. He's not got the HP to be way out there in the storm. Thomas and Malibuca, though, they've been thriving in this endgame. Not many limbs by any means, but having some sense of control. And just as I say that, Malibuca gets taken down. And so we need to see that solo prowess that we've always known Thomas to have. Can he start to connect? There are some solos in this game for him to fight.
No stranger to the clutch. Snazy going down to Vanyak. Harmy down 2. Delay finally taken away.
Vanyak, the solo clutch king, so many times. That's what he's known for. It's his specialty. He's got a hammer as well. Can he hit this shot? Thomas in his box, and he will. Vanyak, even against the best of the best players in the world, he will continue to do it in solo situations, but no, not against the duo of Reason and Janice. We had questions about how well
these walls, they need to have this quick pickup. It's up against Delay and Pixie. They took it really personal, and Delay doesn't make it all the way up the hill. Pick apart the duo that caused him so much trouble in that second.
And that's a nice bit of revenge for Vino and Queasy, taking out the team that you know will probably contest you on height way before the high ground battle even begins. This is perfect for them as they move into the endgame. Vino with his classic sneaky, peeky plays and a big couple of shots just to confirm their limbs. That is textbook Queasy and Vino.
The amount of control they have, it feels like they're playing with 2 keyboards each and 4 arms. Absolutely nuts. Nebs and Pink also have their dive down, but Nebs just does not make it all the way. Still finds a little bit of damage, but now it's a free run.
Yeah, this split is potentially going to be costly. Pink does a decent job of just holding down the fort for a moment, fighting off a duo, just allowing Nebs to catch up.
Not done yet, still have to go forward. Find a hammer down below, but not sure if that's going to be an option. Ryan Paco somehow survived the absolute kerfuffle that we saw inside the zone. That was 4 duos falling all around them. They live and they look so healthy.
I don't know how they do it. They're gonna have to stay healthy though as they move on through here again. A bit of a disjointed hammer effort, and so that's gonna burn some materials, some vital materials that they'll need before their next refresh. Flodax and Rifty currently up here on height. For how much longer, you always have to ask yourself if those guys in the lobby. Look, they take shots at the perfect team. If you want to shoot any team in the lobby, that's definitely the ones you want to take shots at, Rifty. Those are the players that are going to be a challenge to where you currently stand in the lobby.
Queasy and Vino are coming. 18 seconds. They know the inevitable. They've seen the refresh happen in their feeds. Thomas HD, Malibuca also have a lot of space to play with. Every time you see that from Thomas, we know he's hooking something good.
Yeah, I think the good thing here, right, is that if you're Queasy and Vino, Thomas and Malibuca, the zone's pulled in their favor. They're the ones all the way up there on the north. Everybody has to start moving towards them. And so for Moran and Paco, they need to make use of this hammer. And they need to try and stick together as they move on in here. Things are going to start getting messy as you get in towards the zone.
Double hammer from Moran. Looks like he's going to take the game all by himself. Paco trying as much as he can.
Vanyak going down, but going down with a fight. He takes Paco down. And just that bit of a delay is going to be catastrophic for Orion. You see there, that timing means that Mixon was able to move in and clean up Paco. Orion has to play as a solo, just like Trippin here.
Talking about Tripper and Janice being side by side, but it's going to be on the long pole, and Tripper's got nothing left in the tank. Has to move through, finds the hammer and the med mist. This is hope. This looks like almost a sponsor for him inside the storm. But Queasy and Vino, Levin, I'm sorry, I blinked. I missed it. They're on height again.
It's the inevitable. They are inevitable. And this time round, nobody looking to chop them out. Nobody looking to fight them up here above. Who will it be to contest them? If anybody will look to contest them.
Might be something very unorthodox. Might be a duo they're not used to seeing before. Chari and Giras up in this game once again. Top 3 for the moment overall on the boards. They just keep pushing it even further. Reese and Janice also alive, but they're hanging on by a hair.
Wow, Reason. You see the instincts kicking in as he tries to look for some sort of a fight, but eventually gets tagged down there. They were struggling. Thomas and Malibuca, though, they pulled the zone. They had the positioning, but they need the mats. They need a refresh.
They've been dropped down layer after layer. These hammers just going through their entire resource pool of materials. No materials left. The edit clubs. No, Rifty was there. Thomas, not like this.
The miscommunication. Thomas wanted to edit in. Malibuca was trying to edit him in. They're both trying to edit the same wall. And Thomas falls as a result of it. Malibuca now, it's his turn to solo clutch.
Gonna try on the right side, seeing what he can do. Meanwhile, Queasy and Vino up top are looking really good as Rifty and Flodax are forced down below. Shari also playing an absolute calm game. This is looking so easy for them. No stress whatsoever. And they've got the floppers and the hammer to make it towards the perfect side. All the way up front. The mats to lift too.
And they're doing exactly what they did when they won the first game. They're moving towards the front side of the low ground, claiming space, and they're going to look to just edit on anybody that runs in their way.
Let the lobby just choke themselves out. That's their strat. And he finds Mixon, Chari now. With another refresh to play with. Marine somehow as a solo. 6 elimination, 2 hammers, 1 dream. Big shots he's living.
He's done so well up to this point, but he has to continue to do more, and the opportunities are there. Giras is somehow now as a solo. He's got no materials either. There's a bit of brick down there that he can take, but he needs to connect with a big shot.
Marine is all in. Waffler all the way through the box. Possibility at the last moment. He does not get the refresh. Can find the mats. Nothing in the tank. Marine goes down, but what a performance.
Giras still pushing in this one, but the hammer might be his demise. He was exposed for too long. That's going to be all. His shield's gone now.
2 boxes left in terms of materials to play with. Queasy, Vino, just having fun, letting the lobby stress themselves out. Brantman with a heal game all the way in the storm, but I don't think it'll matter for now, unless he has something miraculous. This is the Queasy Vino show. One big fight to win the game.
Flodax and Rifty, though, they were the ones that held that position before. They've traded places. Brant, he's trying to make a play. Very daring stuff from Brant, but nevertheless, Vino eventually closes him out.
They're going to use that distraction to find a way to start that fight up top, but Rifty and Flodax choose to let that zone close in and wait out that other solo. It is Giras that ends up going down now in a 2v2 for the Game 3 win.
We've seen them in these 2v2 situations all season long. More times than not, one of them is able to come out on top.
The big thing, though, all the way on low ground, Flodax and Rifty just go and find 7 almost bodies of loot down below. So many mats to be able to delay. Queasy and Vino have the ammo, it looks like, to keep raining down shots.
You can see Vino, he does have the means for a heal off if need be, but they want to just go straight up. Rifty and Flodax, they're using those hammers.
Yeah, they found all those mats too, but now Flodax got nothing in the tank. Now just Rifty, they're going straight for the shots. No chance whatsoever, as the control is too strong. The duo is too good. It's Queasy, it's Vino, it's gods winning the game.
We don't hype them up for nothing. This is a team that has to be studied, has to be
breathe. And they're not relenting on the pressure towards this team that's across from them on the other high ground layer.
Yeah, they're just going to keep spraying. Thomas is low on ammo, and so maybe he needs to be a bit more wary in how he approaches that. Maybe an ammo split would be appropriate for them, depending on what Malibuca has. Delay. They might look to get in on Janice and Reason. They were looking very close on the box. I thought they were about to just run on in with their shotguns in hand.
I'm looking at the zone 2. It's really rare that we see huge water zones inside EUF and CS, but up near the Citadel, there's barely any land to cling on to.
You know, if just keeps pulling across these different rivers and pieces of water, we're going to see all these mats expended by teams. It's going to get real scrappy.
Here's Freddy, huge shot. And you have to be vigilant on all sides right here. Mustache going down.
Mustache and Tayson going down. Those are 2 big hitters in this lobby that they've taken out. But the perfect refresh that they needed. Their mats are looking so good now in this game. And with Fredoxy in the form he's in right now, the sky is the limit for this team.
Pixie and Delay have a hold on that limit. You say sky's the limit, they say it's stopping right here. No chance. And who was needed to take them down last time? Who gave them trouble? It was Squeezy and Vino. This time, nowhere in sight. CH4S, you mentioned him and Vortex just a little bit. They were refarming mats in the fourth zone. They're down bad right now. There's no chance for them to even contest at all.
They ain't got the facilities to play height. And so this might just be a free walk for Pixie and Delay.
Big difference too though, Vanyak, Carmi, alive together. No more solo performance needed. This duo might survive. They're just waking up on a nice beach vacation, looking for their next move. Janice and Reason also here. And with what I'm seeing right now, yes, Geras is down. Chari not in this game. They can take first place.
This is their chance. This is their moment. We talked about it being a return to a home zone area for them. And these have been the ones where they thrived the most. And a cheeky little find here.
Wow.
He's just been gifted a hammer. Needs to be careful. There's a player on that wall. So he has to close that build very, very quickly. But now they can get on the move. This is setting up to be such a nice game for Janice and Reason.
It's really smart to keep low as well. They can afford it because we're going right back down to another river. I say river, actually. I see valley. 2 high points of contention on either side. High ground not going to be guaranteed at all, so Nev's focus is all the way on low, down towards the sand. It's getting coarse, rough as he finds a few more shots, but it's getting too much for him to handle. Snazy finally going down up inside the box, trying to find handle X2. Pink is right beside him, but they just get one for now. Absolute blender of a moment side by side.
But they need to stay cool. That's been their problem sometimes this season. It's why they've struggled for success. They sometimes get too over-aggressive. They sometimes get too hungry for the LMs. Pink though, he's gonna walk in, he wants to try and get some of the loot from that one.
And now the zone's gonna be an absolute trial and tribulation for the whole lobby. Moving across the north side of the Citadel. Nothing to hang on to. Right beside a cliff. It's just high ground, fully player made. Delay up top against Keandro. Pixie holding on for now. They jump towards the cliffs of the Citadel. A little bit of the rook side of the castle, not much to find.
And an easy situation for them to retain height. They built up here and they can just start to use the natural Citadel mountain to just contain everybody in this lobby right now.
And look at the cost for the rest of the players. Halfway through this rotate, still 30 seconds left, and all these duos completely out of mats. No shields. Carmi has nothing. Reason has a little bit to work with, but everyone else down low just has their hammers to get towards the next hill.
And if you want anything, you're gonna have to fight for it. You're gonna have to go in deep. Box-to-box combat is what it's all about. And that's typically where you expect Carmi and Vanyak to thrive. But here they're suffering, they're struggling down below. Vanyak in another clutch.
Reason Janice up towards themselves as well. On the front side, Vanyak looking for the next shot, but he gets taken down. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, Thomas HD picked apart by Reason as he goes for a high ground type of push, just actually elevating his lair. Dropped down by a few hammers. It's tough to be alive in this side of the zone. Another duo right in front of him. Freddy on the backside of Storm as well. Looking for a few shots as CH4S goes down. Freddy is just him alone. Marius not there. His head hits the top side of not just shots, but a wall, and he goes down.
Pink, he needs to get in a box and hit a shot, but he gets caught in the back of the zone.
Every single layer is crumbling.
Everybody being forced upwards, but nobody has the mats to really deal with it. So many of these players now being splintered, torn apart from their duos. There's barely any remaining in this game.
A giant game of Jenga, and it's Pixie and Delay who are the players. Looking to pick apart every single block and make each duo topple. The Citadel, not safe. There is no foundation. Mixing, no mats at all. T-chips almost out as well. Reorganizes the inventory. No one going down yet. A bunch of solos to be able to play with. A few duos still in the fray. It's 4 of them that gets taken out.
Darko with a bigger limb there. He's had 7 this game. This is a monster performance so far. Anything he does now is a bonus for him.
High ground topples down. Janice takes him out. Pixie at 1 HP bounces back all the way again. Has so many splashes, but does he have the time to pop them? Absolutely. Delay's gone though, as Janice has the retake.
Janice and Reason, they've gone up again, but Mixon takes down Janice, and so it's all on Reason now. All but solos remaining in this one. Blackshot, Mixon's also fallen. And so Reason having to fend off alone. Gonna get the mats, gonna get the loot, but he doesn't have the HP.
Yeah, not gonna connect to really either. Drops down towards the tree and actually has the wall to make 2 boxes. Up above him, Pixie, what does he have in the inventory? Just 3 builds, all the way up high. He sneaks the shot in too. A magician is Reason. He's got a full bag of tricks that you can't predict. He's just too good. And now still has a little bit more time to get the last 2 elims. It's 3 points. Drop down, he teases it, but he still hangs up top high. Lacha now forced to look towards this fight. Pickaxe towards the top, this pressure from the sky. Reason drops down the menace, and he's trying to have the game secured, but Jarko goes for the steal. Mats to play with, water down below. You have to elevate as Reason have the mats. All the way up top, connects with his walls. Another one down to make another box. Jarko off the right side, lands the first shot. Reason back up in the sky. One more floor, it's not his. Reason hits the falling shot. Gets hit in the head again. Bot up top, it's blocked. Jarko with the next shot, he can win it! But Reason's too fast, Reason's too good, and Reason wins the game.
Two Titan solo performances clashing there at the end.
Every single duel towards the north side is looking down towards these boxes. Seti and Cam are the first line of defense against all northern teams, and he just gets pumped down. Both Seti and Cammy taken out by Hydro.
Hydro taking out two of the top players in this lobby. A 1v2 that deep into the game is already the signs of a big solo clutch from him. We'll keep our eyes peeled. Zara and Zangi, they have a ways to go, and that journey will start now with their hammers. We're seeing the same from Thomas and Malibuca. They make their way into the zone.
Possibility once again for Rivers to come into play as we wait for the moving zones to show up. Thomas HD, Malibuca, adaptable, dynamic, lethal. They'll have a way to move in and just pick apart the best positions to be in every single zone. The question is, where does that zone land? No one is invested into their positions. I think 3 stories is the max I see every single base. They're waiting for the next position.
Who's it gonna be to actually have some initiative in this game?
They think that Queasy and Vino might be a possibility. That Pix is there, that there's so many other teams that are taking that high ground. A bunch of them have gone down in that early game. They're not some crazy height holders who will have it for a majority of the time. Giras and Chari had it very calmly in the game that they won. And that was also primarily supremely from low. They gave it up very early. Everyone has to move all the way down towards the south. Filky Bat Sniper had one of the most recent refreshes. They'll go first. Malibuca taken out. And I'm not sure if that's Thomas as well, because he went down so fast. Queasy also fully removed from the game.
Latcher and Mixon, they're going to have to start making their move, but as they do, Thomas is going to look to take out his former teammate there. That was Tayson he connected a big shot onto. He is still sitting below, so he needs to find a position where he can start dealing damage. And he's going to choose to do it right here in the middle of the zone. Get all the angles of everybody around him. Shamoki still in this one, but Swizzy is not here. And that means his power level is so much lower. He's waiting for a team to hammer, trying to connect a shot, and he will miss.
This is his last chance. One impulse. No mats, no surge damage. He needs something, but he can't really find it. And now taken down to 1 HP. He'll be bare bones and taken down. Thomas HD was the one trying to find him. He'll also go down to the storm. This entire game, this game 5, I hear less bullets. I see fear. A bounce back that changes the plan for so many teams. This is tough for everyone around, and they have to resort to the hammers. They go all the way back. It's Zangi up top with no Zara.
We finally wanted to see somebody go up for height, and when we do, it's a Solo who hasn't even got much mats to hold it. How's he going to hold on? He's trying to connect now. As he gets chopped out, it looks like Bebies and Pablo Ingo are going to be the one to try and go for it again.
This is their favorite course, their perfect game. We saw it so much over in week 2. No power team available on height. They take it in a flash. Zangi still holding on. Pablo on the left side is trying to go for that high ground, taking down to almost 1 HP. It's the Fire Bro on the left side. Pablo holds on. Bevy's at full. It's just a solo on high ground. Chari and Giras are there. Meanwhile, Blacha on the low ground, trying for his clutch. Meanwhile, on height still, there's Fire Bro to the sky. Chari and Giras avoid everything. This is huge for Chari and Giras. They have to try to hold on to that first place.
Fire Bro, though, causing such an issue for them, and he had no match. Barely picking up one now as he farms this tree way deep into this end game. He has to try and find something as a solo.
Does he have a Shadow Stone? Pop, this man's invisible. Finally taking one shot. No match living that long is very impressive, but Pablo will see you when you make mistakes. He doesn't let a single one pass, and he's looking at people through bills. Nebs chops height, and now Nebs and Pink have the high ground.
They've spent the whole season playing mid and low, but when the opportunity arose, they went for it. But unfortunately, it doesn't know they'll be able to hold it.
I mean, look at the cost for Pablo, though. The big issue, no mats. It's all on Bevies to see exactly what he can do. One more jump up towards the sky should be enough, and Pablo knows it now. He has nothing to hold on. It's a final all-in. He wants to get inside that box, taken almost all the way down. A last effort shot is not going to gonna be enough. And Bevy's 2 is chopped down.
He tried to force his way into the box, but he was no match. Scram, tripping, down below. They've been silent, and they might just get shut out completely.
There's too many souls alive right now. You think you have a little bit of control as a duo, and then Trippern comes by and takes a shot at your wall. Block shot goes down! What a big one from Trippern. 2 people on his wall. He doesn't falter. JJ2 getting healed up by those splashes. Gonna be a chance for him to land another shot here. Glove sheet, all his HP back up. So many solos here with just one duo on height.
He's waiting them out. They have to make a move, and when they do, it will cause his demise. Forced into the storm, and Glubshy and JJ2 finally have a moment to breathe here on low ground.
Everything slows down. Vortex and Belusi somehow have waited things out. Their patient game plan reigns true. 2 duos with a sandwich solo in between. It's Vixen. And yes, he loves the problems, the fights to come to him. But this one might be just a bit too much to handle. He's somehow still surviving. Vortex sees his body through the wooden builds. Finds some healing, but Belusi will find him out soon. He runs into the zone to heal. The real 2v2s right before our eyes.
Belusi and Vortex now, can they close this out? Belusi's down to nothing when it comes to materials. They're eventually going to have to drop down and start using these shotguns. JJ2 waiting down below with Glubshy. They pick up another. That's their 8 for the game.
There's so many matches to farm to. Vortex and Belusi drop. They're actually running low. Oh no, the hammer sends Belusi straight towards the zone. It's just Vortex now in the 1v2. Dodges the shot. Belusi from the back actually catches up. And now, just a 1v1 with J2 up top. He goes towards the sky. A big shot. A drive-by. J2's looking for it. Patience. The shot. Dodge. And Belusi's down. JJ2 survives the pressure and wins the game.
JJ2 and Glubshy win it out on the defensive side. Giras was no match for it. Kari now is solo, it's gonna start getting taken away. And he has to do even more damage than this. He did for a big shot there. That will keep him alive. But certainly not something he has to worry about for the meantime. But still, he's lost a teammate, he's lost some shield as well.
This is all about staying alive. They have that 5th zone. This is usually where solos go down. They can't make the rotation. He just needs to stay very close, comfortable, secure. Malibuca, I think, didn't build off one layer. Looks like that's the solo as well. So there's a lot of people just inside this asylum, it looks like, looking for a little bit of hope.
And there's a lot more coming. The zone pulls right on it, right? And so they need to do a good job of claiming their space, because you never know, someone might fall into your lap.
Shari needs to hold on to this. If he goes down, just reason. The duo that's in first place for the moment have a free run to push their lead. Look at the match from Charlie. We talk about Surge, 177 below with 3 materials, and this type of loadout, which is on my worst end. This is shambles. Absolutely poor poverty from Chari here. He's done one box before, he has some timing. He needs to find it out.
He's praying anything, something, a gift from the lobby would just be enough to keep him pushing his game. The problem, yes, though, is that if he had any hopes of first place, with Janice and Reason still alive, still in strong in this game, those chances are dwindling and fast. Artibioto trying to come back like any other team in this play. And from where they sit, they have access to that nice zone.
The best zone, right below the Janice and Reason. The counter height players. They're kind of the heavyweights that just wait on the ropes. Another duo tire himself out. They let high ground take all the pressure from every single hammer, and then they wait till late and pick it up over.
This zone is so good for them. It's so good for them. They play the game, play their side, rotate the height when needed.
Reason aren't done yet. There's one left of all the destruction hammer caused. A double reaction of 120 in the air. Video is just too good. And the chase block off on one side, double it down. It's the classic free fire. It's not going to really land, but this man makes it look easy.
He's clearly feeling it, making it look like he's playing creative right now. Vexy's in the box next to him. Chari will finally fall. Reason and Janice, they're still in this game.
314, 40. That make that almost 50 now. As Reason and Janice to the next jump. Arto, Piotr, all the way towards the backside. Mighty fine, not a single hammer in sight to take them down just yet.
Swizzy and Smokey, we've picked them up. They've come to new territory and made it theirs. And they're going to look to close out the day strong, put themselves into contention to lead the Storm tomorrow. They pick the, you know, they want to be up above the lobby. Right now, they just have to stay where they are.
It's gonna be so interesting as everyone has to now just slide down this mountain slowly. It's an avalanche of players as they move towards the south. Cammy down, Savage still around, knocking out another player. That might be a crazy still clutch I've ever seen one. He's still in the business. Vino, I don't see Queasy. He's taking that JJ2 like it's nothing. He takes a big shot, walks off the wall. Janus also beside him, getting pressured. He has to get out and does. I'm still looking at Reason. He's by himself. Vino up top finds another shot and more takes fast throw. They get shot down slow. Queasy alive and they are together.
They're not up on high, but they're still looking strong. When they get their move, looking to use that shockwave hammer now just to get ahead of the zone. Piotr gonna take shots at them. Artur still trying to contest, but they're staying high. They still want to look to take it at some point.
Artur, what a nice hold. We haven't really seen this today. A duel so high up with such ability, not even Hammer can reach him. This is the first time, and the bush saves Artur.
Artur stays in the game, but can he keep fighting in this game? They need to hit a shot deep in the back of the zone, gets knocked way out of it, and he still has the chunk splashes. He still might be able to get into the zone, just a couple seconds away, but no, he'll fall.
No chance, no shotgun, no big damage, and no speed. Vino, however, has all of those things, and he's by himself now, up against Delay, a story we've seen all day. Vino not gonna stop. Now it's a hammer that hits the ground, but that might just be perfect. What a nice adaptation. It's like he meant for it to happen. Vino's looking for his next shot.
He's not got the build. He has to connect to a shot. He still does have that shockwave, and he's going to look to make plays with it. That's what Malibuca's doing. Piotr still up here on high. Pseudo hype player right now. Nobody knows he's so weak above. Nobody knows that they have a chance to take it. That sniper still in this one. Drop into the zone and fall out of the lobby. Vino still alive for not much longer. All the solos struggling to stay in this one.
Shamoki, Swizzy, trapped down below, freezing over. Need to find something. How far on the back, make things warm. A big edit, 2 triangles, and then shoots the feet all the way from the bottom side. Shamoki's just too good. But still now taking over. It's a battle of time. He finds the siphon. Does he have the hammer? Absolutely. Over that's blocked by the Bucks. He has a few builds to keep working with it. Just 100 left now. Malibuca up top. He goes straight towards the cliff. Mustache beside him, but they're on separate teams. They look towards each other as Hellfire goes down. Oh my goodness, Swizzy is there down below too. Malibuca looking down, but he jumps right back up, straight toward the build. So smart, and he goes straight back over again. Another big shot towards the top. Malibuca versus Mustache, and it's Mali that wins. He can now take the whole game.
Former brothers, but now they are enemies. Malibuca still fighting though. He still has a chance up against Shamoki. He's so matched. The team that came from Asia to EU finished the day on top of everybody in this lobby.
Day 2, he knows it. The confidence tomorrow is going to be unreal for that duo, but they're going to have a bit of pressure as well. But I'm sure, like you said in the interview, Vino, he's not worried about pressure. He's confident and he's excited to perform.
I don't know if he's mind gaming us or mind gaming everyone else in the lobby with that day 2. I think maybe
the right side of the map. The zone pulls right on them. Forecast looks good.
It does look like they had the benefits of that forecast augment because they are positioned right in that zone where everybody would want to be. Thomas and Malibuca are trying to plan out how they're going to get there as Thomas looks through this cone, tries to assess the situation. It will probably be a hammer play where they have to double hammer or maybe hammer, stop for a second, hammer again.
Anyone on the north side of the circle as well is going to be much better than the people coming in from the south. You have to traverse through that river. It dips so far down low. You're going to be using a lot more mats. So you'll see a bunch of people from that south side clashing, trying to go towards the top. Vino and Queasy already in that zone. All they have to do is just bully, shoot, and they're experts at that.
It's something they've been doing for many, many chapters of Fortnite now. Mr. Savage and ZX gonna actually get the chance to play a game out. This is very good news for them. 3 eliminations already in this one, and they have their eyes on the players beneath them. They need to be a bit more careful, a bit lackadaisical in that regard. You see now they start to get sprayed, and they just need to hammer out, just need to move out of there and fast. And very fortunate Savage to not really get shot on the way into zone. Left himself quite exposed, but they're in.
So many duels we haven't really seen. Have the best end games on day 1. Finally here to have a chance to get their voices heard. First game of day number 2. Here's Sanchari not the super safe spot or safe spot we're used to seeing them being in. Actually really close to so many other duos before the moving zone really start. Queasy and Vino kind of hold that high ground. This looks like a classic week 1, week 2 type game.
This feels just like what we saw from them in the qualifiers. Before the zone even pops, they're already sitting in height. And that next zone pull isn't too bad for them either. So will they be able to hold on? I think most people expect them. They need to be careful. There are players that are going to be looking up towards it. You can see their Reason and Janice are just beneath them to their right side. And they had their eyes on. I saw Reason scouting for it. Janice, though, paying attention to the players down closer to their layup. That's Tayson and Mustache he took some tags at.
Janice and Reason don't need too much success right now. All they have to do is just hold on, make it all the way towards that top 10, keep surviving. So many hammers all around Thomas. It seems like that's just been the theme for this duo each and every single day. Everyone rotating around them, causing them so many materials. Dylan and Pixie want that high ground too. They want Queasy's spot. Those looking all the way up through that cone, assessing when's the best time to actually make the move. We're going into home turf for Queasy, Vino, Janice, Reason, Chari, Gearus falling down. It's at the top 5. They will not be able to cement a few more points for the rest of this game. Mustache actually looking towards the skies with Tayson as well. They're trying to put on the pressure.
His focus is on the sky, but he needs to focus on his layer. That's high jump. Benusi, or for Strokey, sorry. And Benusi there. He needs to be careful of high jump. Just getting dropped down. But Mustache and Tayson, they're still on the move here.
The ground's changing in theme completely. Low grasslands translating to slippery high glaciers as we move in towards the snow. Trexer, he gets his feet icy. No match though, so really must be careful. Savage and ZX side by side. Savage in the box, 135. Business as per usual, but his teammate down. It's all up to him now.
Caught out from behind. ZX had no idea what was coming, but Savage reacted well enough. But will he have the solo performance needed to start pushing themselves back into this competition standing? He's going to keep moving down on low, running low on mats as well, and so has to start thinking about a big shot. Tayson is nowhere to be seen here. Malibuca and Thomas. Revive, will it happen? Zangi won't let it. He has to hammer out.
Vico shot in the back by Malibuca as he goes completely on transition towards the next portion of the game. Low ground not going to be the best spot to stay in as a solo though. So many cliffs in the way. It's going to be hard to just make it up on your own. Queasy going back up for height once again. Mappy still popping off. He's had so many eliminations so far. Him and Diox are just going completely ham right now. Seti up front as well. Had Cam up, it looks like at the start of the game. 114 to the head, but it's not going to be enough.
And again, players just getting caught out from behind. Nobody paying attention to the cues. Zara, Zangi, they're fighting for height though in the area. This is going to cost him. He can't quite stay in.
And they have an effect on high ground. Queasy and Vino down. Savage picks up Vino. And it is Pixie that stops Queasy. But Zara's not done. Him and Zangi had a game where they were looking really good on day 1-2 on this high ground. They don't want to stop, and they have control.
All season long, they've had it easily, nobody contesting, but now Zara and Zangi here in Game 7, they're the ones to take it, they're the ones to fight for it. Mustache and Tayson still in this one, the backside of zone, not many materials, praying, hoping somebody walks into their sights. And for a moment, I think Tayson just maybe has found what he wanted, a player. Zangi, in fact, from height, has dropped down, been knocked down, and so that's going to be their lifeline in this game.
Might have been fall damage, might have been hammers all the way from down below. Malibuca is the one to have that effect again. Is it up against Mustache? What a shot on the Vanyak! Insane! And he goes straight up again. It's another 1v1, and Malibuca can't slow down. Up in the air. Not this time, though. He gets stopped. Kyrie sends another player straight into the storm. That is Mustache, as he's also last alive.
Tayson, he has to connect. He has to hold on, and Mustache will come through to clean things up. We said it was their game, their moment. The zone favored them.
An island strip right now is just looking at each other, wall to wall.
The problem is, though, when they get into zone, there's going to be so many builds there, and they don't have a lot of mats.
I think zone's just all water as well, so this is going to be tough. Mixon actually falling down. Watch the pressure on the back against the wall. We know that Nevs might be low on mats right now, so they need this fight. Yes, absolutely. No wood left. Half on metal and brick, even less so. They do pick up a few eliminations. Should almost be good, but the low on surge too. This is absolutely drastic for almost every single team, and the entire zone is aquatic. There is no land.
And you just have to hold on to your builds. If you get broken out by a shockwave hammer, you're going to find yourself floundering in the water. Reason, Janice, they managed to find a spot in the zone.
But how will
In a
they
very
survive?
nice spot. They picked up Cammy as well.
Look at their match though. Okay, now that's good. They finally have the full siphon coming in. There's like a down payment to stay in here right now. You need at least half match completely full. And
Gotta be careful.
Reason drop down, hammered out, but that's straight into high water.
Emergency, big emergency, and you see the reaction from Reason. It's just to get out of dodge as quickly as possible. Play for yourself, play as a solo. We can regroup with Janice in a second, and that is what they'll do.
Queasy and Vino though.
Surprise, surprise.
It's just like a water park vacation. No issues for them whatsoever. And the zone will be pulling all the way back to land.
And everyone having to use so much mats to get across the water. Even if you have a shockwave hammer, one bounce alone isn't going to quite get you to zone unless you're way up on the north. And so you will have to use a bit of mats, most likely. And that just makes it so much easier for those teams on that side. Queasy, Veno, look like Tayson Mustache were not too far beneath them as well, so they could very much have a good game here.
Everyone knows if you're on height right now, all the duos below you are an absolute shambles.
Look at the view they have. They're taking shots. That's Janice and Reason are taking shots at. They've put them to a stop. Reason has to stop and build for a moment. You can't just get in.
They'll look for more pressure on the left side, eyeing where they need to be in the zone. Malibuca Thomas doesn't look like they're in absolute trouble, but still lots of people in the boxes around them. What a rotate from Malibuca in between all the builds. Thomas is not going to be with him completely for now, just slightly ahead, but they'll find each other.
Just be careful. Not sitting on comfortable ground by any means. Geras and Chari, they're desperately trying to find something. They need their first elimination of the game to be sometime soon. Not able to stop that player from hammering away. Reason and Janice, they fall here just outside of the top 20. Tayson and Mustache though, they keep moving. They find a refresh, and that is so crucial. Those mats are going to go such a long way for them as they now start to make their move, as the zone will pull again.
Savage and ZX also inside this game have one of the best positions to be able to play from low ground. Shimoki and Swizzy actively catch up, but the most important thing is they're together. Double hammer there too. Shimoki, a very good adjustment. He's gonna be right beside Swizzy once again. They'll be able to keep firing. Lupchi though, kind of almost by himself. They got no mats. They have to go for an all-in.
They have to find it in fast, but a player right behind them. That's El Nada, still in this game. He was looking like he was going to be out a couple minutes ago, but now he finds 2 free limbs. Savage, ZX, do they know they're going to have to start rising? The zone's moving up. Everybody has to elevate here.
Trouble in Paradise shoot for Tayson and Mustache. Had so much control. Now Mustache down. Oh, Tayson to go for this clutch. I don't see a hammer though, so there has to be manual movement. Interrupted towards the backside. Tires punctured. This vehicle, this behemoth is slowed down.
He might have to get that thing off the road and just sit for a moment, refuel. Queasy, Vino, it's so easy for them though, as everybody is squeezed beneath the zone, underneath this hill. They can just chill from above. Savage trying desperately to stay alive. ZX nowhere to be found to help him. He just has to play as a solo, and still nobody really causing a challenge to Queasy and Vino.
2/3 of the lobby filtered out by one clip. Neb's barely just surviving. Vino and Queasy have not stopped shooting for the last minute in a row. Neb's finally making it in, somehow with Pink alive. They made it through that great filter. ZX and Savage, it's just ZX. He's finally down. 4 elims for the duo though. They're looking good. Malibuca and Thomas somehow have survived that chaos too. They were on low for quite a hot minute. 5 different duos now alive. They go all the way down towards the left off the cliff, have to try to make it back. Zangi's also somehow camouflage, makes it all the way to low, but Queasy finds his head too.
They tried to go for high last game. There will be no thought about that now. All it is thinking about staying alive. Zara needs some mats. He needs Zangi to build for him. Things starting to cool down for a second, but that just gives Queasy and Vino even more time to finish the master plan. Pink eventually falls. He gets taken out by Thomas. And Nebs now as a solo, also going to fall at the hands of Zangi. These two, though, they've controlled the low ground. They've dominated everything here.
They're siphoning all the elims for themselves, squeezing now no materials whatsoever, so this might just be the Thomas show in just a second. Shimoki exposing himself on the left side. Zara finally going down. Queasy has some time to delay and a few builds to hide behind. Vino finally looking in, but once again, they have no control. Vino's the only one with mats to be able to play. Thomas has picked up both eliminations. A tree in the way, could be able to split a few mats for Queasy to use. His final 2v2, and Malibuca is going up for it. A little bit of control, but look at the cost for it. A big shot. He's gonna get it off. Vino taking the damage, but Malibuca will go down. They find each other once again. The same tile to use. Queasy's now building for Vino. Thomas HP advantage. Queasy from the backside, and what a win.
What a way to do it as well in a game where everybody seemed to be struggling with resources.
But this is just absolutely a cooked situation. Nothing for Pablo to really do. He's up against players that are absolutely stacked in loot and HP. will try to get in, but I guess it'll just be a gift for Gear S and Chari, who's also, I feel like, might be low on Surge. Maybe that lightning strike was just late on Pablo.
That was the toughest brick wall ever. You pick up the wall and just gets limbed. Zone pulls towards the east, and so still a lot of the lobby yet to make it there.
Thomas, Malibuca, Tayson, Mustache, both two duels will have prime positions on this east side. Will not really have to build, will have so much more to use for the end of the game.
And the good thing is, from where they sit, all these players now flying free. You see Tayson and Mustache set up perfectly here, just to take shots, get their surge threshold even higher. You can see they're using a bush now as well in this box, so they're so much harder to hit for anybody who even wants to stop and take a moment to look at them.
Janice and Reason also seem to be right beside Thomas, and everyone looking surprisingly good on Surge here. Reason and Janice, the ones who have to kind of hold on to this one now. Tayson and Mustache finally moving in, just takes one little hammer to be adjusted. They're kind of in the lead in terms of knowing the information around who's where, around who just faced up, who looks sweet, but Pixie and Della all the way up top, they're the ones to take height first.
And we know they can hold on to it. They know how to play it. They understand how to dominate this layer. Need to be careful though. Can't overpeak. Don't have much shields. And once again, just jumping up and leaving themselves exposed. These are the little things, the small details that go such a long way. And the potential for a high hold now just becomes even more difficult. But fortunately for them, the best height team in the lobby isn't looking too strong themselves in that regard. Queasy and Vino having to use all their remaining shields just to have any sort of decent HP.
With being this far away from zone, that zone's slightly going uphill as well. We'll have to use all 3 hammer charges to get just into that next circle. Banyak, Carmi, they were the ones who were kind of beaming Pixie all the way on high ground. They go all the way down to the ground now. And elect to rotate themselves. Everyone now just on movement, barely even a single shot fired in the sky. Queasy and Fino, I was gonna say they're just trying to rotate in the zone. They just take height.
This is where they want to be. This is where they feel comfortable. Even when things maybe aren't as fruitful when it comes to loot and mats, if they think they have enough to hold it, they will go for it. And there aren't going to be too many contests this game, you'd think, especially with the struggles that Pixie and Della had. Thomas and Malibuca, they've been so consistent here on low ground. I expect to see them continue to just tarp their way on through these zones. Seti and Cammy, who you associate with being a dominant low team, aren't quite able to piece things together. Mustache and Tayson, they find such a big refresh at this stage in the game. That's going to be huge. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them come away with a win now at this stage, as they keep moving through these zones, traveling through all these different layers, all these different elevations. And you're seeing how some teams are struggling with it. If you don't have that hammer, it's so hard.
You won't just have to move, you'll have to climb. The ground's moving up now. Once again, we're getting icy cold, straight to the glaciers. Big long hills. Phil and Pixie looking mighty dry and super high, now find themselves all the way down towards low ground, trying to bully a few boxes, trying to see if they can find anything for the moment. But Surge is really ticking down. Just one shot is what Della needs to land. He finally finds it. 18 below though. It might just net down to 0. 12 above for Della and Pixie to get to breathe, but look at the cost. No mats, no chance. Not a problem to live, but will they thrive?
They have to get in a box, you'd think. They need a refresh, even if they deal with their surge. They're 12 above now. Look at their mats. Look at their shields. They need something to save their game. Vino, Queasy's down, and he's moved to the front side of the zone. Actually, not in the back side of the zone. Now trying to move towards the front, and he'll reclaim height. But with his free builds, you've got to think at some point this comes to an end.
Look at how low the entire lobby is too. Half this entire zone is gonna be on top of a cliff. Everyone now going down. Vino barely makes it. A shotgun shot, a big siphon. He's super healthy, but no mats. Hides, he knows there's barely even anyone here. They're all trapped down below, but he will have to leave the high ground at one point. The safe haven is not gonna reign true for so long. He tries to get close and personal with a shot that would have been huge, but it's not gonna be possible. Pink right in front of him down below. He has to chase it, but the spray is not gonna connect. No match just yet, just a few more to use. 2 builds, how far can he stretch them?
Close but no cigar. So many opportunities there for him, but he can't quite connect to anything. Reason and Janice, they're still in this game. They're lurking in the backside. The zone pool's so generous to them. They don't have the mats to really claim any sort of layer, so they just sit there and wait.
Thomas Malibuca also very active, 6 elims, and I saw Tayson getting a few in the feed, so Those high and mighty duos who are looking to take away that first place, they might be getting very close to it here. Mustache and Tayson on the other side of Thomas and Malibuca are just absolutely splitting this low ground apart.
Wow. Just wow. Claiming space and taking shots to just wipe everybody off these layers. Cammy just drops right into their box. They need that refresh. Cade now on the other side.
They just have shots left though. That refresh has to come in fast. They do pick up Cammy. Might just be 150 max. Bing up top looking for a few shots. Seti finally going down, so they split apart. Another duo to share between each other. Thomas not having so many mats, but those will also dwindle. Thomas now getting very close to Tayson. Side by side, looking to see who can survive.
A big collision is coming. Thomas and Malibuca against Mustache and Tayson. You've got to think it's coming, but no, Kate. He's going to interrupt it. He takes down Tayson, but Malibuca and Thomas have their own troubles now. They can't stay alive. They will fall. Mustache is still in this one. He hits a big shot there. Takes down Kyrie. He's still in this. A 1v1 now against Ping. There's no way Mustache wins this now. Ping, he needs to farm. He has a couple more mats left. He is able to hold on, but for just how much longer? Mustache has time to heal, and you know he can connect with a big shot. Mustache versus Ping. Everything on this one now. The hammer play to move up. Can't quite connect. Ping can connect. He will take him down. But Mustache, to stay alive for that long, 7 limbs in that game. You've got to wonder what that means for them in their pursuit of first.
Sherman Trippin almost in a perfect spot now to just keep playing this game, but it's not all just position, it's also damage. They've got none. Need to have just a little bit more here. Can they out-heal the Storm?
They probably can for this surge threshold, right? Not many people need to go down. But moving forward, right, that's the concern. They don't even want to wait. They want to go right in, but unfortunately, that's not really going to work out for them. Scram making the players a solo there. Trippin wasn't really in a position to support or help in any way. And that's going to derail their game. Trippin has a clutch situation he has to handle. Doesn't have a hammer. Even as a solo this season with a hammer in your hand, you can make things happen. Trippin doesn't quite have that luxury, but he does have some materials to play around with. Kami and Vanyak, they're still alive together in this game, but for how much longer? That's always the issue with that team. Both being able to stay up together.
Mustache and Tayson also low on that damage threshold. Kind of laying a trap here almost. If they just knew on the other side that Resnado was there, they can still have a chance to land the shot. Almost trying to box him. Did they get it? No. He was the top. He's actually in the cone. Mustache sees it, drops him down. On the other side, Tayson's awaiting exactly where Rex could be, but it is Mustache that finds him. It's just a little bit of damage, though. Could be enough. Zone finally locked in. They wait out the surge. They know they're low on it, though. They need to find a lot more if they want to go towards the top 5 for this game.
Yeah, that did cost them quite a bit in terms of their HP, but they are looking back to being healthy again. We saw how much impact a refresh at that stage in the game was for them last time round. It led to them getting second place.
Is Reason still alive? Yes. All the way in a box by himself. Janice just went down. I think these guys tried to get in. Look for an opportunity to maybe just get a few more materials, because Reason has nothing. One build left. He's got one box. He has to pray a hammer. Player comes right next to him. Someone falls for the trap. Queasy and Vino not near height either. When can they take it? Vino's actually just not here. It's only Queasy.
He's a solo with not many materials, but a hammer still in hand. He's going to use to just sort of run his way on in. Before hammering now, he probably wants to land in this box and try to take Kami out. Oh my goodness. Queasy, there goes that man. He stays alive as well. He won't be taken out. Vanyak can't get the trade.
It's just stage 1 though. Has to go for it again. Needs to make miracles a possibility. Gets damage down. Queasy gonna be found to be almost lost in Storm. We go all the way back to Reason. Yes, it was Dark that ends up taking him out. That's one team that's not gonna be able to hold on to that top 4. Reason barely keeping his head above water. Needs to keep breathing. He's got no mats either.
And when they figure out he's right above, Nipsey and CZB might just have something to say about it. It doesn't seem like they know, so he will survive for just a couple more seconds before he can hammer his way on out. But just like Queasy, he's probably hoping he can hammer himself in a box. It's actually Malibuca. They're direct competition now, taking them out. And that's a huge find for Malibuca, especially because Tayson, he doesn't have Mustache in this one. He has to play it as a solo.
No stranger to it though, he's done it many times before. The power that Thomas and Malibuca will have together will be huge. Dilla up top with Pixie. They'll start to shoot down in the rest of the lobby. And it's a flavor we haven't really seen before. So many people adjusted off spawn weeks, makes completely new players up in the business. Lots of new variables. Thomas Malibuca now, still on that low, way ahead of everyone else. 3 eliminations already. They should hold that first place. How far can they stretch the lead?
Here at the front side of zone, they need to start claiming space because if not, they'll get cut off. It's Pink and Nebs right there in front of them. It's another team above them. It's Ryan and Paco, and now they get taken out from behind. Malibuca all alone. Thomas has fallen, and he doesn't really have much to hold on really in this game.
Has the hammer, has the tools. What can he forge?
And a zone pool as well in his favor.
Malibuca versus Tayson. Both side by side. Tayson running low on mats. Both have hammers. Tayson has the first move to get forward. Malibuca, what's he cooking? Mixon already going down. Lost almost a storm, only 2 builds. Can't make a box! He cannot build at all. Nebs and Pink are his targets. Nothing to mantle to. Straight deep into the storm. Flopper, and that's the last move he can make. Misses against Pixie. Twice the blunders. Not like this. Malibuca goes down. It's Tayson that takes him out. Taking the lead almost. Just one healing with him. It could be anyone's game. Now it's Dilla, who's also absolutely eradicated. Chaos on the server as everything goes aflame. Friendly Fields is the location. The entire board changes, but the game's not over yet.
And in all that chaos, there's nobody even sitting above. Pixie and Dilla got taken out and everybody forgot about it. It's Trippin now flying through the skies. He lands, but he needs to start to connect to something because his mats are starting to dwindle. And there are players there, but everybody in absolute shambles. Nobody really finding any bit of control. And this might be the right chance for him to just sort of walk through, sneak up behind. A big 100 shot, needs a bit more. Fred though, really on the defensive now, waiting for him and Marius to find something.
But Marius have the control. Marius pushed all the way back in the storm. Comes right back on a higher layer and follows through the bushes. What can he see? Trapped in a tree. Marius climbs all the way towards the top, but can't find anything. He's lost. He can't see much. Kylie by himself takes out Tripper, and just like that, in a flash, the game is over. Complete chaos in this one in EU. Never making it to the end. 286 above. This is exactly what Thomas and Malibuca need. They get to read on to another chapter. In the distance, you can see Tayson, who has that 1 point advantage up inside the lead. So close to zone though. Thomas and Malibuca have the time. A refresh here would be huge too. Able to gain all those mats, really play the game out. Vino and Queasy, another airdrop. Launchpad to possibly use, but they'll have to give something up. Vino, Alexa just pop that slurp. Thomas and Malibuca have to be very careful. Every duo around them, I think, is at least almost 50 damage down on Surge. They're ready to pounce.
It is so close between those top 2 teams that they can't afford to slip up. The Elims alone have pushed them back into first place, right? But if they were to go down at some point, it'd be not too long before Mustache and Tayson usurp them again. Kyrie and Ping having some struggles that Vino and Queasy will take advantage of. They push their way in and they roll them over, but it's not done yet. It's Fireboat coming in. That leaves Vino with one situation alone to get out of that box. He's not with Queasy either. They need to regroup.
Most important game for Vino and Queasy, 90 points behind. If they want to win this FNCS, this has to be the game. Need a stellar performance and they'll go right above their opponents. Thomas Malibuca straight towards the top, they're gonna take it. Vino doesn't care, and he's up in the sky just like that.
It's them chili tugs. That extra bit of speed allows him to just run up the side, almost unnoticed. Rifty and Flowdesk couldn't react in time.
It's not gonna be enough to win the game. It's not gonna be enough to have height. They need to have as many eliminations as possible. This has to be in the double digits from that team up top to try to be able to catch up to Mustache, Tayson, and Thomas and Malibuca all the way down below. A few teams are already falling. Nebs also trying to elevate from that top 5 even farther. Or that top 10 into the top 5, excuse me. Thomas, HD, and Malibuca though. Just have to make the right decisions. Just have to play it safe for a few zones.
Shockwave hammer will allow them to get towards zone. 1 bounce, 2 bouncing in. A better position, up elevated. And now looking at everybody else. Vino, Queasy, gliding their way through the skies, picking out where exactly they'll start their height base from. And now that they found it, a couple 90s will only be the difference between getting up. Vino though, So aggressive, so hungry. They're not even going for high right now, they're going for this. And yeah, they'll find it onto Marius. That is huge. The mats are going to do wonders for them as they move on throughout this endgame. Tayson and Mustache need something like that themselves as they start to plan their next move. Hammer in and straight down low.
350 Surge to work with. They have so much breathing room. Just need to let the game end itself almost. Thomas HD also in similar positions, but he's landing big shots like he needs it. A pixel shown, and he claims it. Thomas to Geras down, and both of them still safe and sound. Blocked off on the front box. They choose to just use the hammers and get straight out.
It was Mustache and Tayson right in front of them, but they hammered out of the way. The top two teams clashing here in this endgame once again, but up above, Queasy and Vino in their own battle for height. They're trying to take it, but it's Trexer and Asa that are giving them problems.
Trexer completely deleted as Asa takes down Queasy. All up to Vino now, and he needs a lot of eliminations to keep this up towards the top two.
You can see Tayson and Mustache down below claiming space. Thomas and Malibuca in the backside. They need to try and find something as well as they move on forward. That hammer's going to get them there. And once again, they might walk right into the path of Mustache and Tayson. Big shots connecting, big shots flying, but Tayson needs a refresh. Mustache has gone down. Another game where Tayson has to clutch up.
They'll wait for the next shots. Silence all around him. Wood builds can be seen. 2 more charges of the hammers. All he really has. No builds. 0. Just bullets. Just anger. Just that gene. It's the clutch. The tracking. Can't follow. In the box. It's Tayson. It's a guarantee. And he's got so many mats now. Up above. He can find a way to just clear his mind. Breathe some air. Calm himself down. He's got a chance to play the game. Vino in similar spots. His last box. 1 more match. And he's left out to the fray. Finds one. 180. Can he confirm it? Straight up to the skies. Has to do it all over again. Waiting for it. Thomas down. Malibuca gone. This might be Tayson's moment. Vino. We'll tune in with him in just a minute. This is huge from Tayson. All points from here on out. It's a lead he can keep pushing forward for. A very winnable game. 2 more boxes left. Straight to the front side of zone. He has the 1v1. Wrapped around. Piece control! Denied! Denied by Asa!
But he survived his biggest competition. Malibuca and Thomas went down, and so he might have just done enough. For the rest of the lobby though, after all the goats in this one have fallen, they now battle for their spot in the standings. Desi, Dark Desi, he's been real darkness in this game for limbs. He's been a menace to any team that gives him the opening. But with just 1 build sitting here on this code, he needs to go absolutely huge. Rifty in a very similar spot. Flodex is in there, a big code onto Desi. 140 connects, and he takes him out.
Absolutely active with the aim. Rifty by himself now. That wall down below, but it's Glubshy and JJ too. Ever so resilient, so powerful. You can't knock them off this spot. That wall finally down. Rifty, his breathing room is a distraction. He takes it out himself to guarantee the points. JJ2 just has 1 task ahead of him. Take Rifty down. Nice options, but claim back fast from JJ2. His teammate may be up top, just playing for that heal game, dropping down below. It's Glubshy that wraps it up. Valiant effort from Rifty, but what a shift in the middle of the
Queasy and Vino, and they didn't quite get enough points to overtake Janice and Reason. Just 2 points behind, they sit in 4 for the day. But like Shayo said, a rotation will have to be made here by both of these teams. Unfortunately, both have hammers, and so it won't be too tough of a task. Tayson and Mustache just going unscathed, nobody even looking at them as they make their way in.
They moved in so far in first. I think Malibuca Thomas are still way far back, and the zone's almost overtaken them. They're going for damage. Looking for it now. Not flying in just yet. They're right beside each other. Malibuca lost a lot of shield though. He's going to be able to stay safe. Side by side, first and second, staring each other down. Do they know it? Box to box.
They may not know it, but we do. And we already know how much they've interacted throughout this tournament. So close together, so close in the standings.
Queasy and Vito might not be here, but Firebro and Grolls, an absolute force to be reckoned with on height. They make it punishing if you make a mistake. So this is not going to be free in terms of pressure for either Tayson, Malibuca, Thomas, or Mustache. They'll look to punish as much as possible for a chance to further their position in the leaderboard as well. Up the prize money. their overall social rankings, you know, how people view them coming into Major 2. And now the zones start to move. Same stakes for Tayson and Mustache. They were playing opposite sides of the zone with Thomas and Malibuca so far. Now they will move in tandem, side by side. A single wall misplaced might be a shot from second to first. And already Tayson's in trouble.
Gruden just applying a bit of pressure. Tayson wanting to get a clearer path so that when the time comes to hammer, they don't get stuck beneath a hill, stuck beneath builds. Thomas and Malibuca, they're now starting to make their move. Couldn't quite scout as much, but still now even getting broken out. Oh dear, this is not okay. Thomas just has to hammer out emergency procedure.
And he's all the way in, almost falling off the cliff, but he finds a build to actually latch onto. Malibuca, can you follow? Absolutely you can. These are some of the best players in Europe. And now finally side by side, unfortunately, it's not the plan to where they want to be. Tayson and Mustache, they're executing flawlessly, but they're down below Surge. Their position, absolutely powerful, but they're not finding any shots. Nothing to fully see. Thomas taking out a few. Vexy gone away. Malibuca in trouble. Max shot side by side. They have a few refreshes, but Malibuca's also trapped in the box. It's chaos. They can't see. Thomas is down. Malibuca is going to be able to actually almost pick one up. The conversion is going to be there. He's out of ammo on almost everything. Has to reload. It's all up to him now. It's Savage that he takes down. Hammer in the inventory. He's making sure everything is clean. Going in and out. The redeploy's there for him. He has all the tools to make the solo clutch a possibility. It's him right now in the driver's seat.
He's got the hammer, he's got the surge, and he's got so many builds. But it's all on him, the pressure is there. Tayson and Mustache, they're still a duo.
Head on points to Malibuca. Pushing forward, Mustache falls! Malibuca versus Tayson. He hammers closer to heights. All the way to the front quarter zone. Both so healthy on mats. This will come down to some of the final moments, but Malibuca falls down. Every hammer, a risk for them. They have to double up on boxes. Tayson moves forward again. Malibuca towards that top sign. Tayson on a box beside Bevies. It's trouble. Knocking at his door. Tayson taking out at 50 HP. Malibuca looking safe. He makes a few boxes. Bevies is still holding him down. Running out of mats for Tayson. He has to switch layers, but pre-fire shots from all sides. Tayson in trouble. In a blender right now. Let's find a way to get things through. Malibuca absolutely peachy up top. Setting down traps. Tayson has a chance to breathe. Fireball rolls, not stopping the pressure. Tayson flies all the way in front. No match now. Tayson needs this elimination to stay in the game. And he finds it on the Marius. The GOAT continues his reign, staying in front of the competition, but unaware of where the teammate is. Malibuca, delayed for a long time on the top right. Has to move now. Tayson, a lot of mats. Charges refilled. He pushes forward, straight into a box. Ignores everything because he prefers position. He prefers to live, and he can land the shot, but once again, finds himself on a low point, 48 HP. Malibuca is absolutely stress-free in his position. Tayson, though, up ahead in terms of elims and points. It will be Malibuca who has to make the first move. Tayson, with that lead, both players getting a chance to breathe. Malibuca with a duo below him. Tayson still looking on the right side. Can't find much just yet. High point of elevation, Malibuca gets dropped. Malibuca in trouble. One player below him, low HP, can't edit the floor, has to hammer all the way out. Tayson on the backside of his own. No mats left. Tayson hung high to dry. Malibuca on his last mats as well. Both so close to the demise. Malibuca in the box. It's done.
That's why he's the GOAT. Tayson stays alive when it shouldn't be possible. And now he just needs to keep on racking points. He needs to stay alive. Fred's on the other side of that wall. He just needs to stay quiet. As long as nobody notices, and he's good, but he falls as well. Tayson versus Malibuca at the end there. Everything riding on those moments, but the game still continues. Grows and Fire, they've held hype for a while now, and they're still gonna look to close out that game. Seti and Cammy, maybe a little too late for them, but they are down here, and they are taking people out. They need to start claiming space now, though. A lot of these builds are not theirs, and there will be players dropping. There will be opportunities to pick up some more limbs. There's a player count dwindles Mappy in this one, but slowly falling. He might not be able to reach the top there with that hammer.
Has a chance, though. Brutal Bastion, bounce back and forth. Fireball and grows, the only constant that survives. Heat rises, and they're on fire up top. Cammy, Seti, Mappy, put in the oven. They can't stand it. Jump all the way down below. Mappy can't live through the pressure. Seti and Cammy now finally alive as they should be in EU. And this might be a salvage situation for their overall placement. Absolute redemption for Rose and Firebro up top. Having this win could cement them as threats coming into Major 2. The final game of EU goes down to a 2v2.
Rose and Fire up above with Cammy and Seti down below. They're farming every single bit of material they can. Rose using the bush to drop down and knock them way into the storm. He uses that shockwave hammer to perfection. Seti's down on HP, but Rose finally falls as well. It's Fire versus Cammy. Cammy in the storm. Fire doesn't know where he is, and he's not gonna find him either. Cammy's way deep in there. The Siphon will get his HP back up, and he's gonna chase, he's gonna hunt. Does Cammy have enough though, in terms of heals? No, he does not. He will fall. Fire will take it. Groves will take it. A 6 elimination.
And now we can reveal there's just 1 point between it, and your champions of Major number 1 are Murstache and Tayson. Tayson cementing his status as one of the GOATs of the games, leading Murstache to his first FNCS Grand Final. They're the kings of consistency, playing so well, whatever position they find themselves in, and they've been rewarded with the Axe of Champions and a spot in the Global Championships. And you called it, Mini Miner.
This is why we watch. This is why we love Fortnite, because 1 point is all that separated Tayson and Murstache from Thomas, HD, and Malibuca. We have to give both duos credit as to how well they played, especially in that last game. Neck and neck performance, seeing them both on the screen at the same time. I loved that.
Look, the way Malibuca went down as well was because he wasn't able to finish off that one elimination. If he got that elimination, it would have been enough. But now Tayson showing why he's the GOAT. Now as well, Murstache getting his first place finish in an FNCS Grand Finals. And we've seen the GOAT Tayson online, but now that he's taken home the Axe of Champions today, it also means we're going to see him in the Global Championship. And I'm